Hello everyone, welcome. I'm finally caught up. I know I'm late to it. I know everyone's watched it already. I know every Sigma male podcast has chopped this show up and milked it for all it's worth, but I'm here to shoot the dead horse one last time, and I brought a fucking rocket launcher because I'm ready to go. Now let me preface, this show, The Ultimatum, is exactly the type of show that I would only watch on an airplane. I would basically otherwise have to be in prison to want to watch this show. That being said, it blew my expectations away, and had I not been on an airplane and I skipped this show, I would have been sad because there's a lot to this show that is redeemable. First and foremost, let's just make some noise for the dogs real quick on that show. Let's go ahead and clap it up for the dogs. The dogs, they are the true victims in this scenario. We need to commend them for standing beside these fucking lunatics that are their owners. Yeah, did I write the jokes in my phone? Sure, but that's just so I could have them a little bit organized. Now really quick, let me explain the structure of the show. Basically, I think it's like 6 couples go in, and each couple has one person between the two that is issued a marriage ultimatum, meaning like, you either are going to marry me or we're done. And so the purpose of the show is that these couples are going to swap amongst each other after getting to know each other. They're going to choose a new partner, live with that person for 3 weeks, then go live with their original partner for 3 weeks, and then make a choice at the end of those 6 weeks. I also want to give a big shout out to Nick Lachey and Vanessa Lachey, I guess. I don't know her original last name, but they are married now, so they share one. They deserve credit for finding the perfect group of people for multi-level marketing. If they were not on this show, these people would be ripe for selling Forex trading scams. The willingness to engage in something like this is incredible. Now, I'm sure a lot of people have talked about the show, and I've seen some people on Twitter go on about how this show is morally corrupt and it's really bad and da-da-da-da-da. Shut the fuck up. Following that logic, you would not enjoy any other reality show. We have been sacrificing young couples for entertainment for years now. It's just what we do. It's the American way. So I don't even think that's a valid criticism of the show. You knew what you were getting into. I did not expect it to be the carnage that it was. I'm impressed with how bad they fucked these people up. It's awesome. They destroyed 4 couples. They destroyed 8 people's lives in irreversible ways, which is fucking palpable in the reunion. I mean, you couldn't look at a more damaged group of people in their middle 20s. What doubt has been planted in their brain from that whole experience? Why would you ever get married again? Why would you even care about tradition? It's fucking awesome. This show is genius. Quote me on that. Ebert and Roper. If you don't know what this show is, it's called The Ultimatum, Marry or Move On. And it's basically a documentary about an orgy commanded by a drunk Filipino woman named April. Now, you would think then they must have shot it in Houston, but weirdly, they shot it in Austin. I thought that was crazy too. Shouldn't laugh at my own shit, but I had a good time just punching that one out into my phone. Another thing I'm not going to waste any time doing is pointing out inconsistencies these people had character flaws. No shit. That's the point of the show. They need to have character flaws so it's good. If they were smart people or even regular, sentient humans, they wouldn't go on this show. Actually, that's not fair. They're just young, and that's the best part. There was no previous track record of what this show could have been. You know what I mean?
Season 1.
Yeah, they had no idea what it was going to turn into or what it was going to do for them. The only hope they had, at least some of them, specifically April, the only hope they could have is that this was going to gas their social media. Mm-hmm. And a few of them were right. A few of them definitely got blown up from it. But for them to agree and to go on Netflix and to completely risk their relationship is beautiful. I commend them all for doing it. It's honestly really sick. Hey there, don't mind if I interrupt to, thank the sponsor of today's video, which is none other than SeatGeek. Summer concerts are here, and SeatGeek has all the tickets to all the events. If you don't already know, SeatGeek is a ticketing app that makes buying tickets to events super simple. I've got the app on my phone right here. Let me take a look at some events for my music project known as Bad Bunny. 21 events available right now. And it's not just Bad Bunny that's available. It's Doja Cat. It's The Weeknd, Justin Bieber, if you're one of those people. Plenty more. I've used SeatGeek a bunch, especially when I buy tickets to Monster Jam. That's probably my favorite way to get tickets to Monster Jam. And look, SeatGeek wants you to get a good deal. That's why when you're shopping on the app, they show you green means a good deal, red means a bad one. And if you're somehow worried about, ticket pricing, don't worry. I've got a hookup because if you use my code right now, you'll get $20 off your first purchase of tickets with SeatGeek using my promo code Noel. Again, that's $20 off your first purchase with the promo code Noel on the SeatGeek app. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app to take advantage of that deal. Now, let's get back to the video. So yeah, the point of this show is to be exploited. That's the whole reason. So that's why I enjoyed it guilt-free. That being said, I think this is some of the best television I've seen in a long time. I mean, I like Survivor. They couldn't get moments as good as what what you get on this show. A few things I want to call out just because I'm an idiot is in episode 4, Madeline has this moment where she says, I'm trying to put everything into my kids. And I thought that was funny because some people go to jail for that same mentality. Also, episode 4, this dude Colby has like one of the greatest lines ever. And I think we'll just cut to a clip real quick.
Bro, I've been needing a guy's night out. It's good to be a guy again.
He says, been needing a guy's night out. Good to be a guy again. One minor critique I have of the show, which is actually not even a critique. I think it just underscores how little of a they gave when they made this show, which makes it really good, is there are so many shots where the camera is clearly being unlocked from the tripod, and the tripod they're using is just a piece of shit because the frame just rocks and then it starts to move. And then how many moments where they're like supposed to be in the middle of something cute and then the camera comes off sticks in the most not fluid way ever. Tons of shots out of focus, which I loved. I love that they just didn't give a fuck in the edit, and the coverage they had is so unusable that they're just like, yeah, whatever, just leave them blurred out during an argument, who cares. Whoever is pulling focus on that show, I know you had a tough time picking who to focus on. You should have just gone out for a cigarette break and just left it as is, because that's kind of how some of it felt. It's really not a critique, it's just something I noticed and I appreciated. I loved how shitty it was. I also loved how some of the editing made no fucking sense. There's a moment in episode 4 where Madeline, whatever. There's no A in her name. But there is no, but there is a K in her. There's a kid. Yeah, she's pregnant now.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, so it looks like the kid, all the kids got put into her.
Perfect.
Yeah, so congratulations, Colby. He put all his kids into her, Side note, it's kind of crazy. You put like 1 million of them in there and only one comes back.
Yeah, it's absurd. Why did I win?
Yeah. Oh, because you're long.
That's true.
Yeah. You got a big ass head.
True. Yeah.
And you sunk.
I'm still shaped like a semen at this point.
Basically.
Big head, long tail at the bottom.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, it's awesome. Don't ever talk again. No. I'm joking. But I told you guys I was going to abuse him. I told you I was going to do that. No, the editing doesn't make any sense. There's this moment where Madeline is talking about kids, and then it abruptly cuts this dude Randall going, I want a girl. It's like, okay. Sort of related, but not really. General impressions from the show, hats off to them for choosing. I guess they live there, but they chose to spend 6 weeks in Austin, and that's a long enough time for anyone to go crazy or leave their significant other. Hot ass, wet ass, moist ass town. I'd be ready to dip too. They pushed these people to the limit. It was super, super toxic. They were able to extract domestic violence out of one couple, which is, they put that in the edit. That's the craziest part. They extracted that much emotion out of two people and let a woman punch a man twice her size, and they left that in.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, they left that in.
Was it a good punch?
You didn't see it.
Oh.
But you could see the deep regret that she had and how disgusted she was that she could be driven to that point, and she ends the relationship right there. She's like, this is not it. This is not me. And she cuts it off. But I mean, kudos to Netflix for just laying that down and being like, yeah, put that out. Let's put that out. It's not really Netflix. I don't know who edited it. I don't know who had the final sign off. Netflix, I still want to be part of your festival next year. So it's a joke. There's also really funny parts where they try to make very sort of innocuous things very dramatic. Like in episode 5, Randall gets in an argument with Madeline, which, by the way, is a psycho argument in and of itself because she's wasted. And Randall takes it upon himself then to be like, hey, your dude just told me he cheated on you. And she's like, I don't fucking care. I just want you right now. And then, he makes her upset. And then it all kind of builds up to this moment where she's like, I'm going out. And she goes to walk her dogs. And she has two. And I love how human this moment is, because she knows walking two dogs is a pain in the ass. And so she's trying to drag them both out the apartment. And Randall says, I'm going to come with you. And he snatches up one of the dogs. And she doesn't push back because it helps to have that other handler, And so she walks onto the elevator and she's letting it close. And they use one of those cinematic impacts where it's like, boom. And then they play some country music like, I ain't gonna leave you. And then he walks into the elevator. But it's really, it looks so lame. And there's plenty of moments like that where it's just really funny. Shit that is not dramatic. I actually labeled it in my phone as the dramatic elevator. So if you're this deep in on my thoughts, I think you should watch the show. It is a fucking train wreck in the best way. I mean, from the get-go, you can't believe how psycho this is. Not to mention that two of the couples drop out straight away because they propose right after each other, which is awesome. Now they can share a fucking anniversary, I think. I don't know. I couldn't think of a bigger stain on your proposal than a couple proposing on a reality TV show and then your dude walks up right after that. Being number two definitely sucks. But, you can make the argument that many people get proposed to every day. So it's not special anyway. You know what I mean?
But you get proposed to once in your life, or maybe once in your life, depending on if you reject somebody.
I think these people will be proposed to many times. Okay. Yeah, I don't think they'll ever make it to the altar.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
But the question will be popped.
Yeah, I think the question will be popped.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's the great part about the editing too, is these people are so batshit that, hats off to the editors. How could they form a cohesive story out of any of these people? Because they would literally wake up and the people delivering the ultimatums are like, I want to fucking marry you. And then hours later, their partner would be like, you cheated on me last night. And they're like, yeah, because whatever. As you go from episode to episode, it doesn't seem like their emotions are ever in one place. And that's because they're young, They're straight up tadpoles. They just crawled out of their mom's vagina and they're trying to figure it out. So, naturally, they're just kind of petulant. And is that a word? Petulant? Like a petulant child?
Definitely a word.
It's a word. I don't know what it means. Who cares? But it's this in the morning, then they feel like this in the afternoon, and it makes it so chaotic that it's awesome. Now, what I really want to talk about is the last 20 minutes or so of episode 6. And if you will watch none of this show, you should watch that 20 minutes because, wow, that is television gold. I've never seen someone angrily twerk during an argument.
What?
It is so cool. It's so cool that they got that moment, because what a stupid moment to have. Because everyone's had a dumbass argument with their significant other and done some weird shit. And to lose your cool so bad, because basically, April, the commander of the orgy, which is another point I'll get to, she finds videos in her dude's phone from the period where they weren't together, and they're videos of the girl he was with, shaking her ass. And so she gets mad and she's like, why do you have videos in your phone of Rachel doing this? And he's just like angry on the couch. He's like, it wasn't even like that. And what a dumbass scene. What a stupid scene to have. It's so funny. The orgy part of it is really interesting too. Nick and Vanessa knew what they were doing. They got 8 young people and they put them all into a situation where they couldn't resist. They all fucked around. They didn't fuck, but they fucked around.
So this is a real orgy?
Sorry, Alex stinks. It's an orgy in the sense that they all kind of swap, and then when they swap, everyone gets a little physical at some point. Gotcha. They kiss, they grab each other's dick. It's
well, if all 8 couples aren't fucking on screen, I'm not gonna watch.
Okay. Yeah. No. Good. Yeah, that's what porn has done to you. Yeah. You can't see any normal situation.
No.
Yeah.
Not at all.
You're just watching Bar Rescue, and you're like, okay, all right. At some point, okay, he's gonna fuck the manager. Okay, yeah, bet. And then when they don't, you get really upset. TV's whack, dude.
Why aren't the bartenders fucking behind the bar while the manager waits?
Exactly. Yeah, it's an orgy in the sense that they all kind of swap, and then they definitely emotionally spit in each other's mouths. So it's like these people kissed, and then they get all these feelings, and they go back with that other person, and then they end up in the same room with the person that they were just with, and everyone's noticing each other, liking each other, and so it's not an orgy in the sense that they all are banging down, but it's an emotional orgy. orgy. It's just everyone's getting mixed up and it's getting weird and everyone's getting in each other's business, and it makes it genuinely very interesting. Now, there's probably some show that is just like this that they, did in Europe 15 years ago, because Europe is way ahead of us in the way of fucking around. But this is my first time exposed to it here in the States, and I think it was a genius show format. I think the craziest highlight of it all, now we didn't see the whole thing, but that's fine, because the point is for us to make assumptions about these people and hate them. That is what the show is meant to do, which I think is great. I think it's really cool that reality TV takes regular people who have no idea what they're getting into, and then 6 weeks later they become a national villain. I think the audience base or the user base on Netflix is 235 million people. So you have the potential to be viscerally attacked on the internet by up to 235 million people, and you might deserve it because you might be an asshole, but it's a crazy thing. It's just a really crazy thing, The craziest thing for me was this dude, Colby. He had some pretty, interesting points of logic. The funniest one was when, he told Madeline, well, I hooked up with 2 random girls from the bar during the not seeing each other phase because I was doing it for you.
What?
Well, his logic was like, she was embracing this other dude, so he should embrace someone else.
As many women at a bar as possible?
No. He should just embrace the experience. Gotcha. That's what they all kept saying. The experience.
Right.
It was like a cult. He wasn't really into the girl April, so he went and, in his words, got it from somewhere else to make sure he was embracing the experience. I sort of understood where he was coming from, but the part where he said, I did it for you, just sounded hilarious. I mean, I think that's really, really the highlight or a high point of the show. If I had to pick 3 things from the show, it's the quotes they got. I mean, such ridiculous sentences coming out of these people's mouths. It's great. I'm sure a bunch of dudes podcasts are really digging into the psychology of the women on this show, and going on about how the men were right in these situations, and because it was women, whatever. I don't care. I think the real takeaway from this is that people get into shitty relationships. That's normal. That is part of dating, right? That's part of getting older. So I think this is actually the most guilt-free. This is arguably more guilt-free than a pair of Nikes, people were going to do this anyway. So why not expose some weird facets of their relationship, some blind spots, and help them move on and just turn them into a villain in the process? Because, hey, you could be a villain, but you can still sell merch. Trump sold a ton of merch. That guy made a shitload of money. So he's doing okay. So all in all, I think the show is 10 out of 10. If you are, let's say, in your early 20s and you're Mormon and you want to get out of it, or maybe you don't want to get married at 22, I think this show is the perfect way to get out. I think it is it's a great way if you're afraid to break up with your person and hurt their feelings, get in a scenario where there's a bunch of producers that are telling you to do it. And then when you hook up with some girl at the bar, you can tell your lady,
it was for her.
I did it for you, to embrace the experience. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the show. Obviously, it kind of assumes that you've watched it. And if you didn't, some of this sounds like, I don't know, bullshit. So you probably haven't made it this far. So, but if you did, go watch it and then rewatch this. That helps me out. All right, everyone. We'll see you later.
This my next big thing, she precious. I'm bad and the walls asbestos. Yeah, bitch, you guessed it. TUOT on my necklace. Spock done made like 10 beats. Now I know the boy getting restless. Jab my way through the session. Doing too much, coming clutch, that's my essence.